Looking forward to it, and I thought, how do I address an audience that are all at different levels within the company on different tracks? And really, I thought about it, really there's only three things that matter. The basics, the people who deliver the basics, and the attitude of those people. And that's what I'd like to touch on, why those things are important. But first, I'd like to tell you a little bit about my childhood. I grew up right after the Great Depression, and in those days, there were no role models. There was no one we could look to say, yeah, I want to do what she did. And that was true until the 60s, when Mary Kay and Estee Lauder came along. And I thought, wow, these people are not only making women look beautiful, they're making women feel beautiful. Oh. And I thought, somehow I want to be involved in a company that makes people, women especially, look and feel beautiful. Now, in those days, there wasn't a lot of information for women to know, how do I get in business? I mean, there were so few women in business that, as I said before, no role models, no books written. So perhaps God selected my career for me because because for the first time in my life, I became overweight. I gained 50 pounds during a pregnancy. And I remember after my daughter was born, I looked in the mirror and I still had over 30 pounds extra weight on my body. And I looked in the mirror one day and all I could see in the reflection was my mother. Now my mother had high blood pressure most of her life. She died from a stroke at the age of 49. And when I looked in the mirror, I made a promise to myself. I will not do that to my children. I won't leave them motherless. So I promised myself then, I will do something about this. So I went to the only thing that was available in those days. It was called Silhouette American Health. Now, I'm looking around, you're all too young to remember that. But just as an FYI, it was the beginning of what we know today as 24-hour fitness. Oh. So that's going way back. But while I was at Silhouette, I noticed that when clients began to lose weight, they'd come into the center with a spring in their walk, and they'd start fixing their hair up and putting on makeup, and I thought, wow, this is really powerful, how what we see when we look in the mirror really affects our self-image and our self-concept. And I thought, I want to learn about this. So I went to bookstores, many bookstores. There was nothing. I think there were probably 3 books on diet. And it was all like textbooks. So one day I wandered into a health food store and I found a book by Adele Davis. Now, I don't know if any of you know about Adele Davis, but she was the pioneer who really made the connection between food and how it affects your body and your health. So I followed some of those principles, and after losing 30 pounds, the manager of the center asked me to go to work. He said, how'd you like a job here? I thought, whoa, I'm going to be working with all my friends because I've gotten to know everyone. I'll be helping to make people look better and getting paid for it. I said, yes, sign me up. So I ended up working for that company for 5 years and eventually became the area supervisor in New Orleans, which is where I live. That's where I grew up. Wow. And after about 2 years, my old boss came to me, and I had a partner. So he came to us and said, I want to buy you out. And we said, well, thanks, but no thanks. We're doing just fine, thank you. And he persisted. He even threatened us that he was going to open a place right down the block from us, and it would severely affect our business. So our attorney called him and said, hey, why are you guys so hell-bent on buying this company? And the answer was, we're buying the management. And that was the first time I realized that no matter how good a product or service is, it's only as good as the people who deliver it. Mm-hmm. Any good product or service will be better with good people. I know we've all seen successful losers. You know, things that come along and say, gee, that's a great idea. But because of the people who were involved, it didn't make it. So that kind of brings me back to tonight and why the basics and attitude are so important. You know, in the beginning, when Sid and I went to Australia, I was doing all the interviewing, all the hiring, holding all the training classes, and often people would ask me, what do you look for when you're interviewing people? My answer then is the same as it would be today. Two things. First is energy. I know you know high energy is contagious. You know when you walk in a room where there's great energy, then they pick you up, you feel good. Walk in a place with low energy and it brings you down. So high energy is critical. The second most important thing is, do they care? You know, we can train people on the system, but you can't train people to care. They either care or they don't. Do they care about the people they will be servicing? Do they care about the company they'll be working for? And do they even care about being successful? So you might wonder, well, how do you measure success? Well, we know in baseball, success is measured for a hitter, a batter, by how many hits he has out of 10. For instance, if he has five hits out of 10, he's a 500 batter. If he has 8 hits out of 10, he's an 800 batter. So how do we measure success in business? Well, we measure success by profit. Now, profit is necessary. As you all know, if a company isn't profitable, it's not going to be in business very long. So what makes a company profitable? Well, the first thing is to have a creditable program or product or service. And the next is to have it delivered by people who are professional. And the third thing is to always deliver what you promised. Now, we promise clients successful weight loss. I want you to close your eyes for a minute and ask yourself, are you delivering that promise to each and every client that comes in? I ask myself that question every day that I went to work. How do you make certain if you're delivering the promise? Number one, are you supporting that client? Are you encouraging them? Are you cheering them on when they reach their different goal levels? Secondly, are the clients coming in regularly? And if not, are we on the phone calling them, saying, Mary, you know, when you first came here, I made a promise to you. I promised you that I would help you achieve your weight goal. Please don't make me break my promise. Come on back in the center, I want to help you. Are they following the food program to the letter? You know, I always like to look at food the way a doctor looks at a prescription. Now, when a doctor writes a prescription, he knows what it's going to take to make his patient well. Now, no doctor would say, oh, well, yeah, take it for 3 days, and if you want to skip a few days, that's okay. Or just take half the prescription, and you'll do fine. Of course not. They wouldn't do that. So we have to make sure that they are following the program to the letter. Remember, nothing works if you don't do it. And that is a job for the whole center. It's not a question of your job and his job and her job. It's our job together to make each and every client successful. You know, my whole life I've been told, you can't do this and you can't do that. And that was kind of like throwing down the gauntlet, because tell me I can't do something and I'm determined to show that I can. And Sid and I went to Australia at 50 years old, put everything we owned on the line, and there were people there that said, what were you thinking? I mean, how could you do that, come to a foreign country and start a whole new concept? And we said, oh, very simple, because we knew we could do it. Failure was not an option. Sadly, because of Sid's health, we sold the company to Nestle, as you all know. Now, Nestle's a great company, and we thought, being an international company, that they would take us to the next level. But a large corporation like that has multi-layers of management. And I've always believed that the straightest, the fastest way between 2 points is a straight line. Mm-hmm. So if the management talks directly to the people who will be delivering the service and the products, the clearer the message and the better the understanding. Before Nestle, unfortunately, being the large corporation they were, they didn't understand the culture of an entrepreneurial company. Before Nestle, we ran the company like a family. I mean, all of the staff, when we first went to Australia, we had parties, and the staff, they were our friends, and we had a good time, and our franchisees, when they were having a little tough time, we'd come to the rescue and help them. So we really ran the whole company very much like a family operates. And that's what I'd like to restore here again. I'd like to restore that family feeling, the family togetherness, and the family working together. What do you think?